Bonjour à toutes et à tous et bienvenue dans un nouvel épisode du podcast Learn to French. Je m'appelle Eden et j'enseigne le français. Hello and welcome to another episode on the Learn to French podcast. If you are new here, my name is Eden and I teach French. Aujourd'hui, je voudrais partager 3 conseils pour améliorer votre expression orale en français. So today I wanted to share 3 tips to boost your French speaking skills. If you would like to read this episode, make sure to click on the link in the show notes. So today, let me give you a few tips to help you boost your French speaking skills. You're probably in the middle of your French learning journey and you already have acquired solid knowledge of grammar and conjugation. However, you are feeling stuck. You are unable to speak French or you feel like you're struggling to speak French. As a French teacher, here are the most common excuses that I hear from my students. What if it's not perfect? What if I can't find my own words? Or it's too hard? Or I sound ridiculous? Or I can understand French but I can't speak. Now, I do agree with the fact that it's never easy to learn how to speak fluently a foreign language. This happened to me when I was a child and I was still learning English. I grew up in France and in the Philippines. And in the Philippines, I was exposed to the English language, but I was also having a French education, so my school was in French. English is not my mother tongue, so I was too shy and I feared that my accent would be too obvious. So it actually took some time to get here, but if I did not work on those extra steps, I wouldn't be here recording my podcast episodes in English. Here's something that you need to know if you want to boost your French speaking skills. Most students learn French in order to be able to communicate in the language. We are not looking to make perfect sentences, but to communicate. I am a French teacher, and especially as a teacher, I will not judge someone who makes mistakes when they are speaking French. I am more than grateful to see that that person is actually making the effort to communicate in my language. So don't be too harsh on yourself, and let me give you some tips on how you can gain more confidence in speaking French. The first tip that I'm going to share today is to listen to French every day. If your goal is being confident in speaking, you need to open your ears first. Once again, I could sound like a broken record because I'm insisting on being an active learner. It's a great thing to listen to French, and we have tons and tons of resources nowadays with the internet, and there are plenty of topics to choose from. The most important thing to remember is to listen to things that you like and find interesting, and also be active. Some websites that you can find interesting could be TV5 Monde. I will link that resource in the show notes. And also RFI Savoir. So I mentioned being an active learner or an active listener. What does it mean exactly? Well, first of all, you need to make an effort to understand what you are listening. And don't get me wrong, of course, if you are getting exposure to the language, it's amazing. But try to actively work on what you're listening. So it can be an audio file, a video, or a show. And if there's an expression or a word that you don't understand, don't just pass by. Analyze it. Try to understand it. So make sure to write it down and Google it after. Google is your best friend when you're a language learner. Also, I would recommend to repeat some sentences, some words or some expressions. It can be any expression or word that you've just learned. It can be the ones that you like and sound nice to you, and the ones that could be useful in the future. Now make sure to pause and repeat those sentences. I would definitely recommend doing this on a daily basis if possible. The second advice that I can give you is to communicate with native French speakers. I know it sounds very obvious, but it's incredibly helpful. And the question that you might be asking yourself is, what if I don't live in a French-speaking country? How can I find a native French speaker? Well, there are two options here. If you want the first one, which is the free option, you can look into pen pal websites or pen friends websites. In some of them, you can create your profile and then look for a pen pal to communicate in your target language. Some websites can be free and others offer a paid option as well. But there is a downside to this, and it's actually that your pen pal is most likely going to want to speak in your native language as well, because that's also the main reason why they created an account or a profile on that website. It's still an option that you can explore, and maybe you are the kind of person that's also patient and willing to share your knowledge of your own native language. Now, the second option is to think of working on one-on-one lessons with a tutor. Some of my students simply want to have a weekly conversation in French, and I get to help them improve their communication skills that way. Working with a French tutor will not only help you get better at speaking French, but you will also be more motivated if you are practicing with them on a regular basis. It doesn't have to be on a weekly basis, it just needs to be regular. Don't hesitate to ask your tutor to correct your mistakes, and feel free to write down some notes during the lessons. Your tutor is there to help you, actually. And you can ask them, for example, how to say things in everyday French, as sometimes they can be very different from textbook French. That's a good way to learn French and be able to communicate in French. Where can you find good French tutors? Well, you can do it from the comfort of your own home. Nowadays, there are many platforms on the internet to choose from. A platform that I can highly recommend would be languetalk.com. There you can find some very talented tutors from France and Belgium. Prices will depend on the tutor that you choose, and they start from around 12 euros, which would be around $14. So before choosing your tutor, you can actually check out their video and also read the reviews that students left about them, and you can also book a 30-minute free trial lesson with them. If you would like to give it a try, you can simply visit languetalk.com/Eden. That's languetalk.com/Eden, EDEN. You can also find the link in the show notes of this episode. And the third advice that I am going to give you today is to record yourself. There are many ways that you can do this. First, you can listen to a sentence you find difficult to pronounce, and then you pause it, and then you record yourself repeating that same sentence, and then listen to your recording. And finally, you can go back to the original document and listen to the French speaker again. There's also another way that you can do this. You can write a short or long text and read it out loud. If you don't want to go through the writing process, if you simply want to read, then you can simply pick a text to read, and it can be an article, a chapter in a book, or anything you like. Just make sure to concentrate on liaison, articulation, and intonation. Make sure to record yourself and to listen afterwards. You might find it a bit strange at the beginning, you might not like your voice at all, but trust me, this can be a good method for you to focus on your own pronunciation and improve the parts that sound a little off to you. Nowadays, it's very easy to record yourself. You can use your smartphone or your computer, and any type of app or software can do the trick. You will be able to gain more confidence and also manage your fear of speaking that language. You might be a bit nervous at the thought of recording your own voice and listening to it, but the more you do this, the more you will gain confidence. You don't have to do this on a daily basis, but make sure to practice, let's say maybe once a week. That's already a great start. If you do this regularly, you will be able to improve your pronunciation and also, once again, work on what you don't like or what sounds off to you when you speak French. So there is no magic recipe or secret to boost your French speaking skills. I wouldn't advise you to believe everyone that says you learn how to speak French in a month or 2 months. It sounds a bit shady, and usually learning how to speak a language requires practice and dedication. But if you stick to it, you will soon be able to notice your improvements. So be kind to yourself. Articulate, speak slowly, use your hands and also gestures to express yourself. There's no rule for that. We are not in a rush, and remember, the most important thing is to be understood and being able to communicate. So thank you all for listening. Earlier, I mentioned Languatalk. So if you're still interested in trying lessons with a native French tutor, you can find the link in the show notes for this episode. Merci beaucoup d'être resté avec moi aujourd'hui et je vous dis à bientôt pour un nouvel épisode sur Learn to French. Au revoir!